What's up? Welcome into another edition of the Word with G Off the Diamond segment. I'm Greg Launard, and we are presented by Chatted Up Sports. Today, we're sitting down with another special guest from the baseball diamond. He is hailing from Rhea County with the baseball program up there in, what is it, Evansville, right? Evansville,
Sure.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
Rex Pendergrass is our guest here, the big-time home run hitter. Just broke the record over there at Rhea County for most home runs hit. Rex, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. I'm ready to get this thing going. I'm happy to be on here.
All right, let's talk a little bit about you, and I want to hear about the beginnings before we get to where you are now and the big home run hitter and hitting whatever you are, well over 400 at this point. I want to hear what it was like for little Rex to get involved in baseball, who influenced you to get into the game, and how did you grow that passion, that love for the great game of baseball?
Yeah. So first off, I definitely think baseball is it's probably the best sport, for sure. Growing up, I had an older brother and a dad that was always around it. So as a little kid, you're going out in the backyard and you're throwing with pops and Ross. And it kind of just happened. I fell in love with it and I played it my whole life. And from now on, it's just history. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, go ahead.
Good. So it was just something like playing little league. You kind of just fall in love with it with all your friends, and then as you get older, it becomes more important to you.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you want to do. So that,
When
that was
when did
that was
it
my standpoint.
When did it become more serious for you? Like, I know you grew up loving it and dad and your brother and whatnot, but like, when did it start to really become more serious and not just going out there playing with your friends?
I think probably around 12 is when I started to realize like it's becoming more serious. You're starting to travel. You're starting to travel a little more. And then you get to like 13, 14 and you're starting to go to Atlanta every weekend. You're down there about every week in the summer. And then it starts to become a job, like you see people starting to get a lot better and growing a lot. So you have to really start working at it. And I think that's when it starts becoming a job, and it's tough, but it's a love it. You gotta love to do it.
Yeah, it's a
Absolutely.
grind. You have to fall in love with
That's
that
right.
grind of
That's right.
trying to become great. So when did you know? I know you said when it became a little bit more serious for you, but like when did you have sort of that light bulb moment of, hey, like I know I want to play this sport when I get to college?
Yeah, so I guess going. I used to go to all the Tennessee games growing up, and I loved it. And I would always watch these guys, and they just look like they have so much fun out there, and they're loving it. And it's just like I've always wanted that. I've always wanted. I love being out there with the boys, playing ball, having fun. It's a grind though, and as a little kid, you don't really realize that, but as you get older, you realize it, and it starts becoming an everyday thing. And I think probably like 14, 15 summer ball, playing out East Cobb, and you start seeing all these college coaches coming to your games. That's when you start realizing like you got to grind at it. You got to get a lot better every day.
And I'll tell you what, as somebody who played at a much lower level than you're going to play out there at MTSU, I played at the Division III level. It was one of the best experiences that I've ever had going out there
Yeah,
playing with the boys, being in college, going and grinding for a common goal the
right.
entire year through the fall, through the winter, into the spring. But let's talk a little bit about your high school career now. And when did you make the varsity team for Rhea County? Have you been on it since you were a freshman?
Yeah, I started my freshman year. Luckily, I think opening day. I think I started my freshman year. So yeah, it was definitely it's been a rocky hill, but I've I think I've been varsity all 4 years. I don't think I've ever played a JV game.
All right. So, how has it been rocky for you? Talk to me a little bit about some of the complications, the struggles of being a young player, having
Right.
expectations on varsity, and playing with a lot of guys that are much more mature than you are
Yeah.
from an age and a physical standpoint.
Right. So I think going into like your freshman year, it changes a lot because for me, I swung a drop five bat in eighth grade. So then you're doing the whole transfer between going from a drop five to a drop three. And then you got to realize like varsity, everybody's freshman, you're a lot smaller and everybody a lot weaker. And you kind of just got to pitching's a lot better, and you kind of just got to focus in. Like I hit like early in the season I struggled quite a bit, but then later in the season, you start figuring things out,
Yeah.
and I think that was one good thing. I had some older guys that were really good leaders to me, and that they helped me out a lot for sure.
Yeah, you just start getting a little bit more comfortable. How did the guys treat you in terms of coming in, being a freshman? I don't know how many other freshmen started when you were there as a freshman, but How was it with the older guys? Were there any, guys that were a little envious of like you getting a chance to play as a freshman, or was everybody very complimentary and helped you along?
So I'm sure there were some guys over in like the shadows that didn't want me to play, but
Yeah.
I grew up with Keaton Ray. He plays at Walter State now, but he was kind of always my leader, and he's always telling me, he's like, listen, like you got a chance to start this year. You need to lock in, keep grinding. And he was a guy that even when I was struggling, he was always there to talk me through it and help me along the way. So that was some really good support for that, and that definitely helped me along the way.
Somebody
You know
take
that
you under your wing a little bit.
right? Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I feel like that's what I try to do now as a senior with all these freshmen we have starting. It's definitely something you got to grind at, and help them along the way, because it's hard as being like a 14-year-old kid going in there with 18, 19-year-old old people.
Yeah.
It's pretty difficult.
Yeah, it is very difficult, and so I love that leadership aspect that you have this year, that you've sort of taken that role on, and you're kind of passing it along where, hey, he did that for you. You're going to do that for the next generation, and hopefully these kids see what you've done for them and helping them along. And when they're in your shoes, they'll think back and they'll have an interview with somebody like me and say, hey, Rex Pendergrass really helped me along
Yes,
when I
sir.
was a freshman. So I
Yes,
love
sir.
that, and I'm sure when you get to college, you're going to have somebody who did that for you, and
Yeah,
does that for you. It's just like a great circle of
absolutely.
life throughout baseball and
That's
any
right.
any sport really.
Any sport.
Yeah. So speaking of any
Absolutely.
sport, before we get back into, I do want to get back into baseball, but did you play any other sports growing up? Do you
Yeah.
currently play
So
any other sports in high school?
So not now, but up until my junior year, I played basketball and football too. And I like growing up in Rhea County. It's definitely more of a football environment
Yeah.
here. And I love football, but baseball is always just my love. But yeah, football is definitely close too. I love playing football. It's always a grind out there as well.
What position did you play in football?
I played fullback and outside linebacker.
Which one did you like better?
I like defense. I like to hit people. So yeah, outside.
Yeah, you can't do that in baseball.
Nah, nah, not at all. But yeah, outside linebacker, that was my thing for sure.
All right,
Loved it.
when we talk about baseball again, getting back to that, what position do you play when it comes to baseball? I know this year we talked a little off the air.
Yeah.
You're playing some positions maybe you wouldn't normally play, but what is your
Right.
ideal position? What is the position
So,
that you're going to carry on and play, hopefully in college?
so I definitely think third base probably feels more at home. But like we talked about earlier, I'm playing shortstop right now, and I think I'm developing into more of a middle infielder. So I would probably see myself at second in college, but I'm just trying to play. So I'm good with whatever. They can put me
What's
wherever.
not that this matters at all in baseball, but like how tall are you? Because generally,
I'm
like you
six
have.
one. I'm
Okay, so,
six
like,
one.
yeah, third base would probably be a good
Yeah.
position for you in terms of
Right.
size-wise. That would be a big middle infielder, but it doesn't mean you can't
Sure.
play there. I've seen many middle
Exactly.
infielders that are, that are
Right.
taller and longer and whatnot, but love
Right.
that. Right now, you're hitting 430. You just broke the home run record at 24. Talk to me a little bit about that home run that you hit to break the record. Do you remember the swing?
Oh
What do you
yeah.
remember about the moment there of breaking that record?
So, like, beginning of the year, I knew I was pretty close to breaking it, and then like I tied it, and I was kind of just I was relaxed until I finally hit it. When I broke it, and I was running around the bases, like I knew it was broke. Everybody was going crazy in the stands and in the dugout, and it was a pretty hot moment for me. It's pretty cool. Because like the guy that had it, Cameron Wilkerson, when I was a little kid, I always used to come to the games, and I watched him break it. And actually, in my room, I have it in a box where he broke it when he broke it. So I have his ball. He gave it to me. And it's
Wow.
pretty cool. Like when I got home from breaking it, I just put my ball right beside his ball. I think it's pretty cool.
That is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, this is kind of crazy. How did you get that ball? Like, why do you have that ball? Like, were y'all close? Like, why did he give
Yeah.
it to you? Like, what?
I don't know about close is the right word, but like we were definitely I definitely talked to him all the time. I was that little kid that was always around older kids, at the games and stuff. And I always thought it was so cool, and I knew, like, I always kept up with it. So I knew when he told me he was about to break it, and he ended up hitting, I think it was even two or three that game to break it. And I would always go get the balls, and then I tried to give it back to him, and he just handed it to me. He's like, "You keep it." So I always
Wow.
thought that was super cool. Yeah.
And so that sort of was like an extra little motivation for you to
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
break his record because you followed him so closely as a kid and you have his
Right.
home run breaking ball. Now you have yours right next to it.
Yep, that's right. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I need to text him and tell him. I don't even know if he knows I broke it. I don't know what he's been up to. But I definitely need to text him and let him know.
You should. You definitely should.
Yeah,
All right.
for
So
sure.
when it comes to baseball, and I know you have a couple of games left, and hopefully you'll further that
Right.
record. But I'm sure somebody, as the old adage goes, records are meant to be broken. Somebody will come
That's
along and
right.
break your record. But make it as difficult as you possibly can for him over these last
Right.
couple of games that you guys have left in this season. But
That's right.
what number do you wear?
I wear number 3,
Why do you wear
and
number 3?
Babe Ruth, baby.
Okay,
That's my
great
boy.
Bambino.
Oh yeah, I've always watched. I used to read books of him. Those little illustrated books. As a little kid, I was always just like, this guy's who I want to be. He's always. I feel like you look at baseball, you kind of just look at Babe Ruth. You think of Babe Ruth and you think of baseball. So that's how I was as a little kid, just thinking. I've always wore. Actually, I started off wearing 13. And then I think my grandpa told me, he's like, like unlucky 13, you don't want to wear it. So
That's
I
that
changed to
Friday the
3.
13th.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I took the one off and I just wear 3.
Okay, very cool. Now, are
But
you a Yankees fan or are you a Braves fan?
I'm a Braves fan. Yeah, I'm a Braves fan. But
Gross.
I'm also not from a place where, you kind of just like baseball. I'm not like super, oh yeah, you're a Braves fan, ain't you? No, what is that?
No.
No, I can't say, oh, Mets. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
baby.
not the Mets.
Mhm.
Dude.
No, I grew up in Connecticut, so
Okay.
I was very close to the New York side, and it's too easy to be a Yankees fan because they've won so many championships and whatnot. Like, it's a real character builder to be a Mets fan because they
Uh,
always seem to let you down.
yeah, I guarantee it. But y'all got some guys on the team now. That's for
We do.
sure.
We're not gonna beat the Braves, let's be honest about it, but if we can squeak into a wild card and make it interesting this year, then
Yeah.
I will
Well, if
be
the
happy
Braves can
about
stay
that.
healthy, though, let's be honest, they keep
That's
getting hurt
true.
over and over
That's
again.
true. Yeah,
We can
you
stay
know,
healthy. We got this.
Darno just has to keep hitting 3 home runs every other game, and you guys will be
Exactly.
fine.
Exactly. That's right.
All right, talk to me a little bit about the recruiting process of getting recruited to go play college ball. Obviously, that was a big goal of yours and a dream of yours, and you wanted to do it. So, what was the recruiting process like? You mentioned kind of going to East Cobb and seeing scouts there at the tournaments
Yeah.
and whatnot. And I don't talk to me about that whole process of talking to different scouts. How did you
Yeah.
end up choosing ETSU and what other or MTSU and how
Sure.
many other schools were sort of interested in you?
Yeah, so I definitely talked to like many other schools, but so I went to a thing called the PBR Future Games. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's at Lake Point in Georgia, and I went to that, and that's really the first time you just see like unlimited amount of schools there. Like there's every school in the country is there. So I played. I had a pretty decent little showing there, and then after that, my phone was kind of blowing up. A lot of mid majors were reaching out, talking to me. Even some like call Coach Vitello from Tennessee. He was on the phone with me, and a bunch of different guys were on the phone. And I've always wanted to fly too. So and MTSU has actually the biggest, one of the I think it's the second or third biggest aviation school. So I definitely took that into my recruiting process, and I talked to Coach Nichols. He got on the phone, and we talked for I'd say probably like 6 months or so, and he kept a really good connection with me, and that's one way it helped me out to get at MTSU for sure.
Very cool. That's great.
Sure.
And talk to me a little bit about that aviation. So like I have
Yeah,
no idea about aviation or flying or anything like that. Is that something like you can major in? Is that just something you can
yeah,
do? Like it's something you can major in.
yeah. It's definitely
Okay.
something you can major in. I think the major is actually called Pro Pilot. If
Okay.
I think so. And it's the only bad thing about it is you got to have a lot of time on your hands to be able to do it. So
Yeah, because you
I've
got to
been
log
thinking
a lot
about,
of airtime, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
lot of hours. Yes, a lot of hours. So I mean, I've already been looking into it. Like I've been flying with one of my friends back home. I've been flying with him quite a bit here recently, and I love it. It's really peaceful when you get up there. It's pretty cool.
I can imagine. So how did you get involved in that? How does one even become interested in that? Like I remember I had a friend growing up in high school who had done that and got his private pilot license, but how does one kind of get into flying? Like where did that love and that joy come from?
Yeah, so for me was my dad also did it. He flies a little bit or used to, not really anymore. And I was like would go through all these pictures as a little kid, and I would see all these pictures of him flying, and it looked like he was having so much fun. So for me that's the way I got into it. And then I started flying with some people here. I love it. It's
Very
it's pretty
cool.
cool. Yes,
Nice.
sir.
All right, so you wanna go to school to do that. Like, what is the ideal job for you after college? Obviously, like, I'm sure you wanna go try to play pro ball, but if
Right.
pro ball doesn't end up working out, like, what is the secondary plan of, like, what you would like to do with this pro pilot major that
Yeah.
you're going to major in?
So I don't know if I'm gonna major in it yet. It's between that and accounting because I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time on my hands to be able to log hours.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be super hard. I definitely want to leave there with a degree.
Yeah.
But my dream job is to be a business attorney for sure. So I want to go to law school after school after college,
Okay.
and then hopefully that works out. But you never know. Your mind changes.
Yeah. Hey, look, you got some time to figure it out and change
Yeah.
it. I think the most important thing is that you have an idea and a path of, hey, going
Right.
into it, this is kind of what I want to do. Then you get there, you try different things, and you kind of see what fits. So this
Right.
pilot thing is potentially more of like a hobby for you.
Yeah, 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 for sure. It's a
Okay.
hobby. I definitely don't want to make a living out of, but it's just
Okay.
something I like to do on the side for sure.
Gotcha.
Uh,
All right. So another thing you mentioned to me that you enjoy doing is outside of baseball and flying and whatnot is playing golf. So talk to me a little bit
Right.
about how you got into golf. And, for me, I never wanted to mix the two swings together because I felt like it would be sort of counterintuitive to my baseball swing. But talk to me a little bit about your love for golf and where that started and came from.
So my dad played in college, and as a little kid, he was always out on the golf course. So was my brother, teaching my brother to swing. So I was always the kid just out there driving the golf cart trying to learn because I wasn't that good. I didn't get good or half decent until a couple years ago. I've kind of just I think it's just a great hobby. Like after your workouts or something, after practice, you can go play quick little nine. It's just I like doing it. I think
Very
it's I think
nice.
it's super fun.
What's your best club in your bag, or does it depend on the day?
Oh, it definitely depends on the day. Definitely depends. And I'll say this, it's not the driver. Absolutely not the driver.
All
Driver
right.
likes
So
to go wide right.
yeah, okay, wide right. So
Yeah.
what is the I guess what is the most dependable club or your favorite club to use most consistently?
Definitely like a mid iron, like an 8, 9
Okay.
iron.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah,
Very
for
nice.
sure.
All right. Anything else that you enjoy doing outside of playing sports and flying and golf? I know those are two big things
Yeah.
that you enjoy doing, but what are some other things that you enjoy outside of sports?
Yeah, so I like to hunt a lot. My family loves we're always hunting, we're always in the woods. Being in the woods, there's not really much better than it, I don't think. But yeah, definitely love to hunt. Duck hunting's my thing for sure.
Very cool. All right. So my
Yes,
last
sir.
question to you would be, and I always love asking this question, if you could have like one ideal meal, like what would be your ideal meal to have? Like a last meal, you get one more final meal. What is it? You can go appetizer, entree, dessert. You can have anything you want to drink. Tell me,
Yeah.
build me your ideal meal.
My ideal meal, let's see here. So I mean, for the main course, it's definitely going to be like some really good Italian food for sure. 'Cause that's my thing. But I don't know. My appetizer probably like some like crab cakes or something.
Oh yeah, there we
Yeah,
go. Now
yeah,
we're
yeah,
speaking the same
yeah,
language. Now,
yeah,
when
yeah,
it comes
yes.
to an Italian food, like what kind? Like there's chicken
Oh
parmesan,
yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
vodka,
Definitely like some
penne alla
some
vodka.
fettuccine, some like fettuccine. That's my thing.
Okay, fettuccine
Yeah.
alfredo.
Oh yeah, maybe
Very
throw a little bit
nice.
of chicken in there, some
Yeah.
seafood. Yeah, that's my thing for sure. Now dessert, I don't know. I'm not a huge dessert guy. I don't know. I just never have been really.
All right, well,
But
that's where we differ. I love the crab cakes. I love the Alfredo is
yeah,
probably one of my favorites, but I love dessert. But Rex, it's been great getting a chance to know
yes,
you a
sir.
little bit here off the diamond. You can check him out. There's still a couple of more games left here for Rhea County, and he'll just be up the
Sure.
road at MTSU next year when he goes to college. So check him out on the baseball diamond, and we look forward to seeing you out there. We're going to follow the success that you have. Hopefully, you get an opportunity to play right from the jump. Keep working hard. Keep doing what you're doing, and just get after what you love. I can tell that you're going to, and seem like you have a good head on your shoulders, and it's been great to get a chance to know you a little bit and allowing us to get to know you a little bit more.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Again, Rex Pendergrass here on the Word with G off the Diamond segment presented by Chatted Up Sports.